Let's go, guys. Let's go. What amazing news to just come across the line about 20 minutes ago or so. The New Jersey Devils make the announcement that, in fact, the injured goaltender Jacob Markstrom is returning to the lineup for your New Jersey Devils tonight. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect this soon. I thought it was going to be maybe Tuesday in Dallas or potentially next week at home, and the return to the Prudential Center for the Winnipeg Jets game. But Markey is playing tonight. The Devils post Markey is back. Sam Kassan reposts it and writes, "Keep on Markstrom. He'll play tonight. He's ready to go." And what a story. Jacob Markstrom returning in between the pipes for your New Jersey Devils in the home stretch of the season. What a little plot line we have here, kids. I was already super jacked up. This is the pre-playoffs, guys. I don't know if some of you realize these games, for me anyway, and I know a lot of you here, maybe not all of you, I know a lot of you, I look at these like playoff games. This is the home stretch here. These games are massive. Massive, massive games coming off that thrilling third period victory over the Utah Hockey Club last night. What a shot in the arm for this Devils group. Jacob Markstrom returning to the net, and all we could hope for is that Markey looks anything remotely like he looked before he got injured. I mean, that Kraken game is one that'll always stick out in my memory in terms of just all-time goaltending gems during the regular season for your New Jersey Devils. Markey made like 3 save of the year candidate saves in that game. He had the one crazy wag the glove one. I think he dove across for another glove save. He had the one where he was kind of on his ass and batted the puck out of the air on, I think, Matty Beniers on the doorstep. I mean, wow. What a little adrenaline boost heading into this one. I am super fired up. We all know the Devils struggle in the second game of the back-to-back, unfortunately. Hopefully it's something we could shake as the season moves on. But here we are in a playoff spot. Columbus nipping at the heels. Let me just see the out-of-town scoreboard. Boston down late. Ooh, that hurts for Boston. Calgary and Carolina tied in the second. Rangers are in action tonight at 7. Pittsburgh lost again, man. In OT, they got the loser point, but wow. Let me just pull up the edited standings here. Would be huge if Carolina could lose tonight. That'd be a beautiful treat on the out-of-town scoreboard. Would love to see Carolina lose. Yeah, 0-0. I'll be keeping an eye on that. And look at the standings real quick. Yeah, is this updated? Wow, Boston has pulled the goalie. Big game for Boston to blow. They're in the 4th spot right now, just 2 points out of the second wild card spot. Wow. What an amazing finish to this season we're going to have here. Tons of teams looking to claw their way in. Let's see what we got. You guys are talking about in the chat. 4 Devil, try hard, get a point, and don't have Holtz score. If Holtz scores tonight, I'm going to be livid. You know, we've been victimized by former New Jersey Devils, obviously all season long, and you know, it would be extra painful for Holtz, I think, for a variety of reasons. Jeff says, from your message to Satan's eyeballs for Devil. Richard Zimmer, what's up? Let's go Devils. Southern Devils fan, let's go Devils. Rob C, hope Devils can pull off a win today. Fitz, we are still waiting for a trade. 100% need one. I'm not going to be, you know, day to day, like, where's our trade? I fully expect whatever he does will come in at the 25th hour on the trade deadline. I guess essentially maybe on Thursday, but if I had to bet on it, I think whatever move or moves he makes are all going to come on the final day on Friday. And wow. We are now 5 days away. 5 days away from trade deadline. And this New Jersey Devils club just looking to continue their pursuit of that Carolina Hurricanes number 2 spot. Southern Devils fan says, poor Dawes. I mean, Dawes is going to have his time in the sun. He'll certainly get his time. It's not yet. You know, he was huge for us in the few games he played this year. And I think the future is bright for him. And I do believe he will be here with Marky next season for a Jacob Markstrom, Nico Dawes tandem, which I think is going to be phenomenal next year. But I'm not looking forward to next year just yet. We still have plenty of season left here and hopefully a playoff appearance. The Devils are entering game 62 tonight. After tonight, there'll only be 20 games left. 21 prior to heading into this game. But after tonight, we will be on our final 20. Let's go Devils 95, 2000, 2003. Marky is indeed starting. Going to be phenomenal. Keeping up the Devils says Marky has been activated. That's massive news. Absolutely, and he's in the net. John, NJ Devils 45. Let's go Devils. What's up, Savages? Big game, finish weekend strong. It would be oh so sweet to get these back-to-back wins on the road against two pretty good teams. I mean, Utah, despite their place in the standings, they're a pretty solid team with a lot of talent, and obviously Vegas is a very good team. Would be amazing to knock them off tonight in their own building. T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. What's going on, Joseph? Amagi said, Keefe said Marky was traveling with the team. He's now upgraded that too. He's in the net tonight, Amagi. He is in the net tonight. Traveling Devils has great news on Marky. Marky is back. John Mick, M&M boys in the lineup. Let's go Devils, referring to Mercer and Meyer. Would love to see Timo get another one. The March of Meyer is underway, my friends. We've had one game in March, and Timo Meyer produced right on schedule. March 1, Timo has emerged. John, NJ Devils 45, I want to see a first period start like last night. Absolutely. We absolutely cannot afford to be sleepy in any more of these first periods for the rest of the season. 21 games left, including tonight, and got to play 60 minutes. There is no time to take off, and if they must take some time off within the game, hopefully they do it after we have a lead. Amazing to play with a lead last night. Unfortunately, they squandered it. Utah Hockey Club did tie the game up before the Devils recaptured the lead in the third period, but playing with the lead is a nice luxury that the 24-25 New Jersey Devils have not had nearly enough. Playing with the lead allows you to just kind of settle into the game, make the other team maybe press a little bit more than they would like to, and then you can kind of catch them on their mistakes. When we're down, it gets ugly because teams just really try to muck it up and make it hard on us. And we all know the issues the Devils have when that middle of the ice transition speed game is shut down and they force us to kind of work. Not the best thing. Hopefully the Devils improve in the games that happens. It's going to happen all playoffs long. They're not going to be able to just play pond hockey with Eastern Conference playoff teams. But when teams want to play that pond hockey game, like I've said time and time again, it certainly benefits the New Jersey Devils because of the skilled forwards we have. Jeff says, win it for Marky boys. John NJ Devils, SST is eating meatloaf in his parents' basement. Oh, boy. Sherry Poo, what's going on? Marky is back. Yes, he is. Vic says, Marky. Vic again, confirmed by Keith. Marky will be playing tonight. Richard, Luke was okay. Timo scores. We got a W. Marky is back. Hell yes. Let's effing go. Jeff, Calgary, one shot on goal in the first period versus Carolina. Come on, Flames. Wow. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. And we've gone final in the, where the hell is this? Guess is in Minnesota. Minnesota shuts out the Bruins 1-0. Oof. Bruins are desperately looking for points as well. Boston lost. Yeah, I just saw that. John Mick, Fitz is hinting he's ready to push his chips to the center of the table all in. Where did he hint that? I can't see him being super aggressive, but I'm hoping he's going to be more aggressive than I've predicted he will be. This team, I do believe, Marky's back now. Hopefully the mojo starts working in our favor. With a couple additions to this roster, this team could start clicking at the right time. They really could. It would not be the craziest thing. They've shown their capabilities earlier in the season. And wow, what a nice story it would be for this team to really start getting their shit together in March heading into the playoffs. What a perfect time. No better time than the present. Meadowlander, do you think we've seen the last of Jake after the walk-off in Colorado? I do not. I do believe, I don't think it has anything to do with it. I just think they thought it would be nice to give Dawes a game after he came off that shutout in Nashville. The Utah Hockey Club game looked like it made sense, for the goaltending rotation. They threw him out there. He performed well for us, got the W. Now Marky is back. And so we will now be back to the Jacob Markstrom, Jake Allen tandem for the rest of the season. Let me just see something. I don't know offhand how many more back-to-backs we have after this, but I expect to see a heavy Markstrom kind of start schedule going forward. 9th, 11th. It seems like no more back-to-backs in March. And we end the season with a back-to-back. April 15th at Boston, and then April 16th back at home against the Wings. Wow, and those games could be huge for the playoffs for us and those teams. Really, Detroit and Boston. Detroit currently occupying the second wild card spot with 66 points in 60 games. And the Boston Bruins through, I think this is not updated yet, I think it's through 62 games now, have 64 points. It might be updated. I'm not sure. The game just ended. Sometimes they're slow with the standings. But either way, Boston 2 points out of that second wild card spot. You know, that could have major implications for us. Hopefully we have the number 2 seed in the Metro in the bag by then, the last 2 games. But it could very well be the difference between the second and third spot for us in the Metro, or it could be the difference between the third spot in the Metro and a wild card spot, realistically. We will see, but a huge 6 weeks of hockey remaining on the docket, and the Devils looking to keep pushing up the standings. James, hopefully Markie's return motivates the boys. Cheers, Ace, to Markie's return. Yeah, absolutely. This is huge. A little sooner than I would have thought based on what we've seen and heard the past couple of days. I really did think maybe Dallas, but I was really in my heart of hearts thinking it was going to be the home game against the Jets. And here we are, Markie back in the net. And hopefully there's no rust. Hopefully it's just razor sharp Jacob Markstrom picking up right where he left off. Would love to see it. Meadowlander, any word on Luke? I haven't seen anything on Luke. As far as I know, once he came back in that third period, it was a non-issue for me. I know a lot of people were thinking he might not play today. I can't see it. If he came back in the third period with no issue, to me, that means, you know, we survived the scare. We all thought it was much worse than it is, except, you know, Bryce Salvador nailed it when he said, you know, I hope he comes back out for the third. Everyone in the intermission live was like, what is Bryce talking about? There's no chance, myself included. Shout out to Bryce for accurately predicting that wasn't as bad as we all thought. But I don't anticipate any issue with Luke, and he should be out there tonight. John NJDevils45, when is Cam episode 3 coming out, Ace? I've been super backed up with life and video stuff. Let me just look at the calendar here. I've been meaning to get that out. It's Sunday, Monday. I'm going to try to get it out maybe for Thursday. I'm going to try to have the Cam part 3 ready for Thursday. Keep an eye out for that. Keeping up with the Devils. Maybe we could win 2 in a row if Markie plays. Maybe we could win that elusive 4 in a row. We're on a 1-game heater right now. Would be nice to get 4 in a row for the first time since mid-January of 2023. We're now approaching 2 years and 2 months since the last time the New Jersey Devils were able to win 4 consecutive games. And they've won 3 in a row a ton of times. We've won 3 in a row. I don't know how many times. I'd have to go back and look, but a ton of times we've won 3 in a row, and we're never able to secure that 4th for whatever reason. It is a very bizarre thing. I'm not going to look too much into it, but you know, it would be nice to kind of get that monkey off of our backs prior to the playoffs. To win 4 in a row just once this season. Just give it to us one time. I think we've won 3 in a row 3 or 4 times this season, and never were able to get it done in that 4th game. Spirit in the sky. He might be a little rusty. The Devils need to play great defense in front of him. Yeah, absolutely. He's been practicing. We don't know at what, you know, kind of intensity, but hopefully he's locked in and ready to go. Coming back in a big one, playing the big boys. The Vegas Golden Knights are the opponent for tonight, and we desperately need these 2 points as we continue our march towards the Stanley Cup playoffs. In Vegas, with only a 4-point lead over Edmonton in the Pacific. The West has some juggernauts. My God. Who's going to come out of the West? I do think the West is wide open. I mean, wow. I wouldn't be surprised by any of these teams, really. Avs, Kings, Oilers, Knights, Wild, Stars, Jets. Crazy. Vic, just watch that. It was a boring-ass game. Boston, Minnesota. Swayman gets the loss in that one. Keeping up with the Devils, personally, I thought it would be against Winnipeg. That's kind of what I was thinking, too. It just, usually when he's this close, I guess they didn't want to jinx it or just kind of let on to the fact that he was super close. But they're like, oh, he's close. But you're like, okay, he's close. What does that mean? I mean, that Winnipeg game would have been close as well. It didn't seem like it was, the next day type of thing. But I am ecstatic. Jacob Markstrom will be back in the net tonight for those just joining us. Jacob Markstrom making his triumphant return as the New Jersey Devils march on to this playoff. And obviously we have the trade deadline looming. 5 days away from the trade deadline. What will Fitz do? A lot of people are expecting big moves. A lot of people are only expecting kind of small tinkerings. Some people are expecting a little bit in between. All I know is that we will have our answer in 5 short days. We will see what the fate of this club, in terms of trades anyway, what the fate is. What is Fitz going to do? And hopefully he sees what a lot of us see, in that a team that needs help, that has potential. When we were on top of our game, they were deadly. Gonna need some help, though. Gonna need some help. Nice to see Laser score last night, obviously. Timo Meyer, the March of Meyer has officially begun. Looking to build off that tonight. Hopefully Jack could get it going again. What a game last night, and here we are, back-to-backs. Chico, just getting us a point tonight. That's all I ask. I obviously want to win, but if they get us a point, we're going to a tough matchup in Dallas on a higher note than we have been in a while. I'm greedy. I want that win, Chico. I want that W. I want the W and the 2 points that go with it. I think hopefully the team plays like that. Hopefully they come out and they're like, we want this game. We want to win for Markey. We want to win for ourselves. We obviously know the playoff standings are getting crazy tight. And hopefully they look like a team that wants it. Got to want it and got to play like that. Hopefully there's more hits tonight. 18 hits last night. I need to see more than that. Meadowlander, Markey is back is great, but he needs goal support too. Let's go. Yeah, all of our goalies need goal support. Poor Jake Allen has definitely gotten the worst of that in over the course of the season of all of our goalies. A lot of times it seems like when Allen was in net, the team did not show up. But keeping up with the Devils, who is it for Vegas? Hill? I don't know if that's been... I'd imagine it would be. Let's see. Nemitz back in tonight, I believe. And they have Aiden Hill as the projected starter. I mean, that means nothing, but it probably will be Hill. Chico, a John Hines coached team playing boring hockey? No way. John NJDevils 45. Maybe we could score on a breakaway tonight. Brutal. These guys pull the same move every time. Nothing creative. Shout out to, let me just double check who sent me this. Someone sent me a stat on team breakaways. And trying to find it. I think it was it Max? I think it was Max. Yeah, it was Max. So Max sent me this. I'm going to hold off. Max actually just messaged me and said it might be incorrect. He initially sent me his NHL team breakaway shooting percentage, and the percentages across the board were super low. Okay. So, Max, let me know in the chat. Yeah, I'm like, what the? It did seem super low, but I mean, this site is usually pretty solid. All right, keep us posted, Max, on that, because I want Brick Nilsson, and by Brick Nilsson, you mean Brock Nelson. There it is. I don't see Lou doing business with us. I'm not sure that in a vacuum, I like Brock Nelson, but I do think, I don't know. I just don't know what it would take to actually get him. Are the Islanders definitely moving on from him? He is 33. In a vacuum, I like him, but there's obviously more that goes into it than, just liking a guy that would be a good fit. Obviously, you're talking about assets to get the player, what the contract situation is going to be. Are you going to obtain him as a pure rental? It's a lot to figure out. Chico says, I think it's going to be Vegas coming out of the West. Jack Eichel is a man possessed lately. Eichel is a beast. Eichel is a complete beast. And it's crazy that the Knights were able to get him back. I mean, wow. What a team. What a team that really goes for it every year. That's some real GMing. They're looking to load up every year. They're going to put guys on LTIR. They're going to do all the tricks. They're going to do everything you're allowed to do to really try to make their team the best. The weightlifting lab, I want Jared McCann. I would love McCann, and I think he's going to be another one of those guys that everybody in the league who's looking to buy will be in on. And I could see the price on him being pretty astronomical. With that being said, with the term he has left, I think he has 2 years after this at $5 million a year. I would like him. I think that makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels. Now, is Fitz willing to give up Nemitz or Casey in a deal like that? I do think either one of those guys could be the main package piece to get a guy like that. Now, going back 2 months ago, I would have said I would not probably include either one of those guys in a deal for a forward unless it was like something more significant. But I think the way this season has played out, with knowing it's a seller's market and guys are going to go for a lot, I mean, it wasn't ideal in my opinion, but if we have to move a big-time defensive prospect to land a guy like McCann, I think it's worth doing. Let me pull up that unrestricted free agent list again. Guys that'll be unrestricted free agents this summer. Obviously, there's a lot at the top. Do forwards. Yeah, JT and Marner from the Maple Leafs. I wonder what... I love Jamie Benn. I've always liked Jamie Benn. He's super old. He's going to be 36 this summer. What's he doing this year? Jamie Benn is a heart and soul kind of dude. He's got 38 points in 59 games. He's 6'3", 206. I've always been a Jamie Benn fan. I'd be curious to know what I'm assuming he's going to go back to Dallas probably for a team-friendly deal. Keeping up with the Devils, McCann and Gordy, 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm sure there's probably a few teams trying to think to pull a move like that. Chico, Jack Eichel is playing like he's trying to remind the world that he would have gone first overall in almost any other draft. Yeah, I mean, Jack Eichel is, he looked very good at stretches of the Four Nations as well. I always obviously root for Americans. I'm an American. I love the Olympics and the Four Nations or World Cup, whatever it is. I'm always a fan of Team USA and all those tournaments. And Jack Eichel, definitely worthy of being a number 1 overall, but he just so happened to fall in the same draft year as Connor McDavid. Pretty insane that draft was that 10 years ago? Holy shit, man. Yeah. 10 years ago. Wow. What a draft. Let me pull this up. 2015, Connor McDavid, Jack Eichel, Dylan Strome, Mitch Marner, Noah Hannafin, Pavel Zacha, Ivan Provorov, Zach Werenski, Timo Meyer, Mikko Rantanen. This draft was loaded. Holy shit. And I can't believe all these guys have been in the league for 10 years. Jake DeBrusk, Matthew Barzal, Kyle Connor, Shabbat, Brock Besser, Konechny. Oh, my God. This is probably one of the best This has to be one of the best drafts of all time. What a first round. Oh, my God. Yeah, most drafts don't have hits like this. That is just hit after hit after hit. Vic says we're probably acquiring Evans from Montreal. I mean, that seems to be the guy that any of the rumors, a lot of rumors are linking us to him. And then they were also talking about that Montreal might be looking for a second rounder for him. It seems a little steep, but like, it is what it is. If we have to part with a second rounder, we have 3 of them. If we have to part with a second rounder for him, I mean, what choice do we have? To say, oh, the market was high and do nothing? Absolutely not. Ship it. Get the guy here or someone like him. Morgan Williams, run the likes up for a big W tonight. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. What's going on, Max? Marky Mark back in. Chico. Giant Hines is too interesting of a name for him. I got a little tongue-tied there. Yo, Holmes, hire Mogilny as breakaway coach. Man, I will say, one of the things that I'll always remember, in Game 5 of the 2000 Stanley Cup Finals against the Dallas Stars, which the Devils ultimately lost in triple overtime on a Mike Modano tip at around, and it was like 1:15 in the morning. I forget if it was regular overtime or a double overtime, but I'm fairly certain that Alexander Mogilny had a breakaway or like a semi-breakaway to win the cup on home ice at Continental Airlines Arena and got stoned by Eddie Belfour. That was one of the most scarring sporting events I've ever been to. I'm so glad the Devils were able to obviously win the cup in Game 6. My boy, or I guess this hand is better, my boy Jason Arnott right here, right above me, in Dallas, the next game in Game 6, but I was super jacked up as a 14-year-old kid going to Continental Airlines Arena with the Devils up 3-1 in the series, hoping to see them skate the cup, and it wasn't meant to be. They lost, and they had to go out and win it in the, in Dallas on the road. So, better to win it than not. Then the following year, they're up 3-2 against the Avalanche. They lost Game 6 at home and then went out on the road and blew it in Game 7, which was devastating. The weightlifting lab, Evans is good, but we need a guy like McCann. I would love McCann. Chico, this might be one of the worst years to need to improve at the trade deadline. A lot of teams are not that far out, and there might not be a ton of sellers. Yeah, absolutely. But again, I'm not accepting that as a excuse for inactivity. Like I said, I think yesterday, when these holes on the roster were ignored, Fitzgerald had to realize that it was a possibility that we would be in a situation like this where it is a seller's market and you might have to, quote unquote, overpay for some pieces. I mean, it is what it is. We don't have a choice. You cannot flush another season of this precious core down the toilet. It absolutely cannot happen. John NJ Devils 45, want to see Cotter on a breakaway. Dude has silky hands. Does he ever? The hands and finishing ability on Paul Cotter are second to none. Just absolutely filth. Jay Snow, can the Devils actually go out tonight and win back-to-back games? Certainly hope so. Certainly hope so. Markey's returning. Let's go. Let's rally for Markey. Saw a report today that Fitz is going all in at the deadline. Could see a move by Monday. We'll see what all in means for Fitz. Where exactly did you see that, Jay Snow? I'm a little bit behind. I had to bring Grandma out today. Brought Grandma for a nice breakfast. Did some other stuff. Got beat up by my nephews. And now I'm here with all of you, my extended Devils family, an hour and a half before what is the biggest game of the season. Jacob Markstrom back in net, looking to win back-to-back. Vic, this sounds far-fetched, but rumors have linked NJ to Brad Marchand. I doubt it, though. He's a guy I talked about a couple months ago. I would love Marchand on this team. I don't know if the Devils would even be interested. I think he might be a little too I guess for lack of a better term, abrasive. He might be too much of an abrasive personality for our locker room, but I don't think those were rumors per se, Vic. I think they were more of kind of speculation articles. But if there's any rumors, throw them in the chat. I'd be so curious to see. When I was looking on the internets, all I saw was kind of speculation articles. I didn't see any credible, rumors or any sort of real linkages between the Devils and Marchand. It was more so people, reporters or writers, whatever, speculating that the Devils could be a good fit for him. So I do think there is a very big difference between the two. Meadowlander, the last goal on a breakaway was January 24th at Montreal. Jack with a game winner in OT. I was there. What a game. What a game that one was. Chico, if the Devils win tonight, it would go a long way towards finally ending their slump of inconsistent play, in my opinion. Just the mental victory of beating a team like Vegas in a game where you usually lose. Yeah, back-to-back against another good team. The obvious return of Jacob Markstrom. There's a lot of great plot lines to build off of in this one. Vic, don't listen to most of those. 90% is false. That's I don't know if it's necessarily false. I think people just misinterpret what I said, explained as like speculation articles as like legit rumors. I think it's different. Oh yeah, they said Rantanen is coming to Jersey. That would be one of the most shocking moves in Devils history. I have zero interest in him. I think he's going to get way more money than he's worth, and I do think that money would be spent much better elsewhere on other guys. Jason, no, they said Fitz is looking for a big physical playoff type player. Music to my ears. I think we all realize, we would love to have two of those. Get me two of those guys. Yeah, just for the clicks. We live in the clickbait world now. I did hear that he got hurt. Is it like, so did he play today or did he miss the game today? I didn't even look. Let me see. I have oh man. Yeah, he didn't play today. I forgot that someone had mentioned he got hurt in the game yesterday. The weightlifting lab, I'd take Marchand. He would be like this team's Claude Lemieux for sure. And I do think to some extent, for lack of another guy who fits it better, Timo Meier has a little bit of that in him. And coincidentally, Claude Lemieux is Timo Meier's agent, which is pretty damn funny. I think Timo's the closest thing we have. If we got Marchand, he would definitely be the most Claude Lemieux-like pest on the roster. Chico, I hate Marchand as a player, but he would definitely be like a Pesci on steroids in terms of teaching this team what it takes to win. I think so. Guy's got tons of experience. He's a winner. He's seen it all. And I think he really could be good for a young kind of overall inexperienced group like the group that we have. But like I said a few minutes ago, he just might be too abrasive of a personality for them to handle. But I would love to see it. Sometimes guys got to get shocked. Jay Snow, what's the last good team we beat? I mean, define good. I would say that Utah's a good team. If you're talking about like, oh, they must be, is your metric for a good team, they must currently be in the playoffs. Because if Utah was in the East, they would be right there. But I guess the last good team that we beat, well, we played a lot of bad team or quote unquote bad teams. So I guess we got to go back to January, and we're talking about, I guess the Lightning. You want to call the Lightning, but just because there's been a lot of bad teams on the schedule. But I would say, I guess the Lightning on January 11th, that overtime winner. Does that count? Are we counting that? I think that would probably be it. Jason says rather McCann and Tanev. Yeah, Tampa on January 11th. The mock drafts had us drafting Barzell, Markey, and Net tonight. Yeah, that draft was crazy, Jason. 2015, when you guys get a chance, if you weren't here a couple minutes ago when I was reading it, pull up the 2015 first round of the draft. My God. Just star-studded, absolutely loaded with generational talent. The Weightlifting Lab, hit the thumbs up for Ace Crew. Thanks, guys. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. And for your New Jersey Devils, and for most importantly, the return of Jacob Markstrom for your New Jersey Devils. Let's go. Let's go. Markey. Oh, I can't get crazy. I'm going to break the mic. Markey is back tonight. Chico, I still maintain Zaka would have been a good fit with us if Hines didn't seemingly hate him. I mean, yeah. Weightlifting Lab, getting Jamie Benn would be incredible. I think he's just going to stay. He'll probably sign a team-friendly deal. I'm sure he lives in a sick house there. He's been there forever. He's played there for 15 years or whatever it's been. I can't see him leaving. The captain, it just seems like he will return there. But it's nice to dream. It would be great to get a guy like him. Don't get me wrong. Wasted Youth Caper? Is this the user formerly known as Wasted Youth? What was it? Action Figures and Comics or whatever it was? Have you shortened it up, or is this just a different Wasted Youth? Awesome that Markstrom is back tonight, Ace. Now trade deadline, make a move. By the way, okay. Chico, if we have to part with a second rounder, if I recall correctly, the odds of a player even making the NHL after like the first 20 picks creator, I'd give up a second for Evans just for the statement of it. I do not. I've said this time and time again. Listen, I personally don't value drafting with the picks much at all. I value the picks because other teams value them. I like the picks to trade for known NHL players. Why draft a hope and a maybe when you could say, okay, I'll give you this pick or this pick and this guy, and I know exactly what I'm getting. Even if you look at the New Jersey Devils past 30 years of first-round draft picks, there is miss after miss after miss after miss, and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, what could we have gotten if we traded some of those picks? And the answer is a lot. And so you know where I stand. Trade the picks for win now pieces, baby. Chico says we are not taking this year off. Jay Snow, we had freaking first-round picks in 2020, and all that's left is Mercer. Yo, Holmes, I was there with the ace of the Dallas game. It was absolutely crazy. One of the worst in-person defeats of my life. Chico, Holtz over Rossi was one of the worst unforced draft errors I've ever seen, but Muck helped us get Timo, referring to Shakir Mukhmahabdulin. I butcher his name, the big defenseman. Max, I think I think the thing I sent you interpreted my question correct. Just doesn't have that right data. The numbers are team shooting. I was going to say I was actually eating breakfast with my grandmother, so I scanned it real quick, but I said to you right away that seems super low, and that makes way more sense as a team shooting percentage. If the league breakaway percentage was that low, it'd be crazy. I don't think it's going to be an easy stat to find, Max. I looked for a couple minutes myself last night, but StatMuse is a gift and a curse in my opinion because, like you found out, they make it seem like they're giving you what you want, but if you really look at it, it's just some other kind of stat that's similar to what you're looking for, but not quite it. There is a paid version of StatMuse that I wanted to get, but it's like a fortune monthly, and it just makes no sense. John NJ Devils, hit the legs for Ace, you filthy animals. He's grinding this weekend for the Jersey faithful. Thanks, John. Hit the thumbs up. Let's go, Grandma. Chico, love it, Ace. Enjoy that grandma time. Would give 10 years off my life to have breakfast with my grandma again. Yeah, man. She's 92 in pretty good health, pretty mentally sharp, very sassy still, very sassy grandma. And she likes her breakfast. And so I try to bring her as often as I can. Jay Snow, imagine having Slavin on the back end right now. I mean, yeah, well, that'd be great. Jay Snow, go on NJ Devils. The article's up right now. I think it's Sports Illustrated. I'll have to look at that after this. Jeff, I really hope Salayev pans out at this point. I wouldn't be able to take 3 big misses with high picks from the management team in recent drafts. I mean, listen, that Holtz one is a stinger. It really is. I love Paul Cotter, but the fact that, we had to ship Holtz to get him, or really, it's not the fact that we had to ship Holtz to get him. It's more of the fact that we drafted Holtz with that pick. I mean, my God, what a complete whiff. Complete whiff. And you look at, the guys we could have had. It is what it is. I'm not going to harp on it too much because no GMs are going to be perfect in drafting, but like that is a painful one that we kind of are feeling the effects of right now. And you're saying if Nemitz doesn't pan out. Yeah. I mean, listen, a lot of people wanted Logan Cooley, Shane Wright. I am very squeamish personally about drafting any defenseman that high. While I certainly appreciate and understand the need for kind of, the franchise defenseman, picking a defenseman at number 2 just seems completely irresponsible to me. It really does. Like, especially because, good defensemen obviously aren't easy to find, but like how good is the defenseman in relation to what you're going to get from an offensive player? I don't know. And I'm a big defense first guy. Build a team from the net out. Get your solid goalie. Get yourself some solid defenders. But I just, with a number 2, I would have liked to see a forward personally. Jay Snow, we suck at using first-round picks. Might as well just let them go. That's my motto. Trade that shit. Chico, Salayev is going to be really good in my opinion. The fact that he's 18 and getting serious play in the KHL is huge in my opinion. They hate young players over there. I hope Salayev is at rookie development camp. I'd imagine he would be. I always like seeing these guys up close. Jeff, that's good to hear. Chico, I haven't followed this D+1 year too closely yet. Yo, Holmes, we need Jack to turn heel like John Cena, Hollywood Jack Hughes. I heard some rumblings about that. Believe it or not, I still have some friends that in adulthood watch wrestling. I can't say that I do. I kind of gave it up, when I was 13, maybe. Nothing like the WWF Attitude Era, by the way, for you older folks. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, The Rock, D-Generation X. I mean, what an era of pro wrestling. But I did see some highlights of the internet ablaze about the John Cena, Rock, whatever the hell happened last night. Jay Snow, what sucks is Marky's coming back, but our problem is scoring, not goaltending. For sure, but hopefully, that gives a boost throughout the lineup. Like, our guy's back, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully it just has that kind of effect on the whole team. Timo time. I was at that draft in person. Of course, I had to see us take Zaka. 1-0 Canes from Slavin. Damn it. Damn it. Damn you, Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, the Flames have 9 shots on goal almost midway through the game. I mean, that's pretty tragic. Pretty tragic. Jay Snow, I don't care about giving up a second, but Evans really ain't doing much for this team. Keeping up with the Devils. Wolf will lift the Flames over them. Please, we beg. Evans, just Evans does what for this team realistically? Just Evans? Probably not much. Just him. But, you know, is he unrestricted? The reality is, heading into next season, we have a ton of holes that need to be filled. And yeah, he's unrestricted 29. He's getting 1.7 this year. We need realistically, it's not going to happen at the deadline, but we need a third and fourth line center, really. So, you know, if he could play third or fourth line center for the Devils for beyond this season, that's a start. Is he going to be a magical fix for this year? I don't think so. Does he make your team better? I have to say yes. To me, the bar is pretty low for what would qualify as an improvement, if we're being honest. If you look at the numbers of the bottom 6, the bar is low for who's doing better than that. Like, Evans isn't tearing it up this year, but yeah, 12 goals and 16 assists for 28 points, right? For a bottom 6 guy compared to the Devils. I mean, those numbers probably aren't far off from Palat's, and he's getting first line minutes with 2 All-Stars. Yeah, I mean, he has more points than Dawson Mercer. What are we talking about here? And no guys in our bottom 6 have that many points. More points than Palat. Again, first line, playing with Jackhughes and Jesper Bratt. And so, like I said, unfortunately, the reality is when you look at the bottom 6 production right now, it doesn't take much to constitute an upgrade, and he's definitely an upgrade. Now, is it going to be a earth-shattering difference and a game changer, him by himself? No, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and I think all of the holes on this roster, including all of the bottom 6 positions that need to be upgraded, aren't going to happen in either one offseason or one deadline. And so it's a step in the right direction, and I think it does improve the team for this year. Chico says, gets Dowling off the ice finally. Stephen Engel, picture of the Belmar St. Patrick's Day Parade. Guy on left has a Devil's knit hat on. I have no idea what that's in reference to. Max, Aiden Hill sat out last game because he was sick. Ilya Samsonov was in when they beat Chicago 7-5. I would assume he's good to go. Jay Snow, we could have had Slavin. We wasted 3 first-round picks and didn't take him. Go Bora, what's going on? Long time no CA, so hope you're doing okay. Can't be, I guess, same can't be said of the team. I mean, listen, we're on a 1-game heater, bro. We're on a 1-game heater looking to win back-to-backs. The return of Jacob Markstrom. Yo, Holmes, not drafting John Carlson still kills me. Yeah, it would have been a nice story, but who did we pick in that draft? Let's see. We passed on the good old Jersey boy. Damn, he was in 2008. Oh, my God, man. I feel so old. I remember when all these guys were getting drafted. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Markey was the first pick of the second round, 31st overall in that 2008 draft. Oh, God. Yeah, that was the year we picked Matthias Tedenby, number 24. Wow. Wow. Yep. Terrible. I'm just scanning the second round. Damn, Roman Josi went 38th in the second round, and number 38 overall in the second round. Traveling Devil Flames give up a goal and take a penalty right after during no play. Oh, boy. Yeah, 9 shots isn't going to get it done, Max, for sure. Jeff, Ace, totally agree on not drafting a D-man that high unless it's the next coming of Hedman Lindstrom. Well, here's the thing. People often get, they get real cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when they start reading these scouting reports and shit. I don't know if you guys remember. I also didn't want to take Adam Larson when we did, but they were hyping him up. And they were like, I think he had some coach that also coached, I think it actually was Lidstrom. A guy that had coached both Lidstrom and Larson had claimed that at the age Adam Larson was before we drafted him, that he was, he looked better than Lidstrom. Like, and when I heard that, I was like, yeah, what the hell does that mean though? Like, great. It means nothing. In the end, is he going to develop into Lidstrom in the NHL? And I think whenever teams or people make these crazy comparisons, it's like, how is anyone ever going to live up to that? It's just psychotic. I wasn't crazy about the Larson pick when we made it. That's crazy. That was 2011. My God. I'm so old, guys. I am so old. In a few months, that is a 14-year ago pick. Adam Larson. Completely insane. I mean, he's gone on to have a fine career, but is that a guy you want to use a number 4 overall on? And then we look after him, Ryan Strome, Zibanejad, Scheifele, Couturier, Dougie Hamilton, JT Miller at 15, Stefan Nason, 21 to the Ottawa Senators, Raquel, number 30 to the Ducks. What went in the second round? Anything interesting in the second round? Yeah, all these drafts are a crapshoot. Chico, I was a Nemitz guy before the draft. When Montreal took Slavkovsky, I wanted Wright in the moment, and now I'm a Nemitz guy again, but I can't wonder what Wright would be like on this team. Yeah. Or Logan Cooley. I mean, we would be a much better team with either one of those guys. Max, having Markey back is one of those intangible things that could ignite a team. I certainly hope so. I definitely think he is one of the vocal leaders of the team. He seems to be well-liked by everybody. He is an absolute throwback. I had the pleasure of talking to him for probably like a good 5 minutes at a Devils event in January, and he was the man. It was shortly after he got hurt, too. But I had a nice chat with him, and he's old school. Love me some Markey. I loved him before that, and now I love him even more. Chico, hockey's very mental. My hope is that Markey coming back energizes the team like we're not losing his first game back. Hopefully. We could only hope. He's gone after this year, Evans. Yeah, unrestricted. But I still technically don't know the rule. Like, it seems like teams have an idea of what he's looking for, or maybe they're secretly allowed to talk to them about extensions before they trade. I don't know what the technical rules, but it is one of the shadiest things, I think, with all the trades. Is like, oh, he's unrestricted, but, maybe the team could grant permission. I forget all the rules of it. Chico, Jake Evans, 28 points would be good for 6th in scoring on this team, and he would be the best. Yeah, I think I just said that a couple minutes ago. Like, look at what we're comparing it to. Is he a world beater? No, but look at what the bottom 6 has produced. He might have, he would have more points than Tatar and Haula combined. Tatar has 15 points. Haula has 11. So think about that. The guy has more points than 2 of our bottoms, or I guess you could call it our average bottom 6 guys combined. Yeah, Haula with 11, Tatar with 15. I mean, yeah, what are we really talking about here? And 5 more points than Palat. I mean, 2 more points than Dawson Mercer. Only the big 4, Dougie and Nason, would have more points than him on this team. Jace, no. So with Evans, we lose in 6 instead of 5. Yeah, but again, if you're looking at a single player to fix the whole team, then you're already on a losing mission. Outside of, some massive superstar acquisition, no one player is going to turn the tide completely for a team. It's going to take a couple moves. And again, I'm not looking at just improving the team for this year. While that's great, preferably guys that can help us beyond this year should be the mission, because there's tons of holes on this roster that are not going to get fixed at the deadline. And so piece by piece, we got to make it happen for next year. Traveling Devil, would have been nice if they used that mentality during Nico's 500th game earlier this year, Chico. Steven Engel, I expect a lot of good defense tonight to protect Markey and limit the amount of shots on goal. Jason says, I don't like Mercer either. We know that. Yo, Holmes, I'm banking on Ace's meeting with Lou. Please treat us Nelson for peanuts. Might as well throw him palms, too. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I literally said that to Lou at that thing. He was like, who is this crazy guy? Chico, got to improve how you can. Jake Evans, in my opinion, is a big improvement over Justin Dowling, even if he doesn't move the needle a ton. I agree. Completely agree. Jay Snow, we're going to get smoked tonight. That is what the Devils do. Come on, man. You're taking up the mantle for SST now. Carson, let's go Slave. And also having marking back will seriously help you guys make a push. Let the battle for second begin. John NJ Devils 45. This pre-game is making me feel old. I feel old every single time, John. And the more I look at stats and, we look at how long ago things were, I feel like an ancient dinosaur. Chico, loose drafting ability fell off so hard, so fast after the 04-05 lockout. Hockey changed and he just couldn't adapt. Maybe. But the one thing is he still has a winner's mentality. Concede, never make the playoffs or die trying. Max, at Carson, you have always been cool in here, but respectfully, can the Kings... Chico, I still love Larson. He developed into a fantastic defensive defenseman, but yeah, I don't know about fourth overall. I think if Lemaire sticks around for 11-12, he hits closer to his potential. That is true. Knowing what you know, would you draft Nico first overall or Makar? Come on, Meadowlander. I love Nicohischier, but Makar is a specimen. Obviously, Makar. It's not even a question. Not even a question in my mind. I love Nico. He's a great player, but Makar is a different level type of player. Chico says Makar. I love Nico Hischier. I'd follow him into hell, but Cale Makar is a generational talent. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Makar is just... It's a different... There's levels to this. Jay Snow, I love Nico. I think he is a super underrated player. Evans wants a 5-year deal. How old is he? He's 28. It doesn't seem too crazy. Turns 29 in June. I guess it depends what he wants. We still have, in terms of next season, Gritsuk should be over here, you'd imagine. Again, I'm very skittish when talking about KHL guys because, they kind of play by their own rules and it's kind of lawless game over there. But Traveling Devil, Makar all day. Chico, Nico Hischier is very, very good. I do believe you could build a contender around him, but Cale Makar is otherworldly. Completely agree. Max, in regard to Evans, he's doing that well in his role in a stinker of a team. Weightlifting lab, I love Nico, but I take Makar every day of the week and drive on twice on Sundays. Jay Snow, 2 forwards makes a difference, I think. Steven Engel, damn, he didn't get my giggity thing. Is that it's from that cartoon, right? It was a little after my time. That's from was that Family Guy or one of those? I'd have to go back. I'm trying to skim these things quick. Let me go back and see. Oh, I expect a lot of good tight gig. Okay. Is that? Oh, boy. Go Boro. I'd love Marchand. Super big on the team. Good comparison with Mew. If he joined, I'd buy the jersey straight away. I couldn't do it, but I understand those that would. I mean, that would be a super exciting acquisition for me. I like getting winners, guys that have been there before. And yeah, I just am fearful that management is scared to bring a personality like that into this locker room. That's, from what it seems like, kind of soft, mentally and physically speaking. Would Marchand be a complete shock to their system that they couldn't handle? I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I think he would be like a perfect, and that's the same kind of reason why I wanted JT Miller. I thought JT Miller would have been a good fit too. Jay Snow, Ace, do the Devils inspire much confidence these days? I wouldn't say it. I mean, what do you mean inspire much confidence? I think if Markey looks like his old self with a couple moves and this team kind of starting to improve the play with the guys that are already here, I am a believer that they could go on a run. I still believe it, but they have to start playing consistently and they got to start now. Go Boro, apart from any obvious superstar, who's a player joining the Devils you'd get the jersey of straight away if you had a spare bunch of bucks? Not many, because I'll tell you this. I do feel, I don't know why, as an old man now, I do feel strange about wearing jerseys of what I would call children. And the only jerseys I've ever worn my whole life I'm a collector of jerseys, so I have a million jerseys that I collect. But in terms of actually wearing, I've only worn Scott Stevens and the great Martin Brodeur for my whole life. With that being said, and I also said, when all my friends were getting different jerseys of the new hot thing over the years, whether it was Kovalchuk or Parise or Adam Henrique or nicohischier, Jackhughes, I always said, I will never put one of those or any player's name on my personal back until you hoist the Stanley Cup like my boys behind me. Until you win a cup, your name is not worthy of going on my back because I can only wear one jersey at once. And if I'm wearing a jersey, I am certainly going to represent a man that brought us or helped bring us to the mountaintop. And so my rule was always, if you've never won a cup, I will admire you from afar. I will applaud you. I will have some of your merchandise and memorabilia. But as far as a jersey goes on the body of Ace, you absolutely must hoist a Stanley Cup before I put your name on my back. Now, to get to the answer to your question, Go Boro. Well, you said apart from any obvious superstar, but I'll ignore that part of the question. In the end, there's still not many guys that I would immediately buy a jersey of to wear outside of the quick names that come to mind are obviously Sidney Crosby, not realistic. Alexander Ovechkin, again, not realistic. And in terms of newer players, it would probably only be Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk is one of my favorite non-Devils in the league. In terms of just buying the jersey right away, though, I'd have to think a little bit more. Is there any other guys floating around that I would consider? I'd have to think. But those are the ones that jump out to me right away. Sid, Ovi, and Brady Tkachuk would probably be the three. I'm just trying to think if there's any other guys kicking around that I always liked. I don't think so. We're pretty much in the new guard now of all these new guys. All my old guys, like back in the a few years ago, like Joe Thornton would have been in the mix for that. Chico, the thing is, you don't know if Haula and Tatar start playing a little better with Evans over Dowling. If he makes them both 5% better, that's a big step. I mean, any improvement would be great. Any improvement would be great. Jay Snow, they're only given a 40% chance to win tonight. I don't care about that. Go Boro, draft Nico, not Makar in 2017, but draft Kakko instead of Hughes, or keep Nico and draft Hughes. Yeah, I don't know, Chico. I'm with you. I'm like trying to decipher what that meant. Go Boro, basically Nico and Hughes, or would you take Makar but get Kakko instead of Hughes? Oof. I mean, crazy question, but I think you have to go Nico and Hughes. You're talking about a number 1 and a number 2 center, or a 1 and a 1A center versus a, what could potentially be an all-time great defenseman, but a very big whiff with a number 1 in Kakko. Max, I still don't think Marchand is a need for this team. We don't need more midgets. We need size. But the difference is he doesn't play like a midget, and that's the difference. We have small guys that play small. There is a difference between small guys that play small and small guys that play like they're the biggest man on the rink. Steven Engel would love to get Raquel from the Penguins to play next to Bratt and Jack. I think he would go for a ton, man. If the Pens really do move him, I think the package is going to be wild. It's going to be a wild package, I think. Chico, but then where's the center depth? Jason says Raquel going to fetch a big return. Chico, wingers rarely do. Prices would have to inflate a ton. Mercer, 2 seconds as a starting point. I think you'd have to do that, but I think they're going to get a first and a roster player probably. Go Boro, I think Pitt would like to get a high first for Raquel. It would work out big time for them. Keep it up, the Devils. Do you think Markey can steal one right away? Yes. I'm hoping he doesn't have to. Listen, whenever he's forced to steal a game or keep the Devils in it, it's obviously an indictment on the team play. Like, you don't want, I've said this a million times, you don't want your goalie to have to be your best player. That's not an ideal situation to be in. And I feel like many games this season, whether it was Jake Allen or Nico Dawes a couple times or Jacob Markstrom, our netminder had to be our best player, and that's never a good sign. And I'm hoping I would listen. In an ideal world, I'd love to see the Devils coast to an easy victory tonight with Jacob Markstrom not seeing a ton of work and not forced to keep the Devils in the game or steal a win. Now, is that the most realistic scenario? No, you're right. I mean, Markey hasn't played in what, like probably 5 or 6 weeks in terms of game. And we're going up against a very good team on the road. My guess is as good as yours, but if he looks like the guy we saw most recently before he was injured, he's capable of stealing a game every time he's out there. I just hope we don't force him to. Hopefully the team shows up in front of him, gets some goal support, play sound defensively, and don't force Markstrom to have to stand on his head to keep us in the game. That is my request for tonight. Chico, Foot, another prospect, a second-round pick, and like a fifth-round pick to get it done for Raquel. Oh, I think you're dreaming, Chico. Oh, my God, you're dreaming. Foot? Yeah, unless you're talking about the other prospect is like Salayev, or if you're considering Casey a prospect, or... Yeah, I think you're way overvaluing Foot, my man. I can't see that at all. That seems like a dream sort of package from the Devils' perspective. Mike Trudell, Marchand, Canadian boy with grit. Give me him and Timo on a line all day, baby. Oh, it'd be nice. Jay Snow, same. It's weird rocking a guy's jersey who's a kid. They're all kids, man. We're old. We are old fossils. Steven Engel, nobody's touching Foot. He has a back issue. One wrong move and it could end his career. It's nerve damage, I think, in his back. Jay Snow, I grew up wearing jerseys. Never wear them anymore. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I do like my Marty jersey and my Stevens, but this has been a favorite of mine, and I'm wearing it again tonight because it brought us good luck. This is the old school center ice, the old school Jofa practice jersey, nice and thick with the fight strap. This is the real deal on ice. I love the all black. I've always liked these. I have a bunch of other practice jerseys as well, but this one's kind of shooting up the charts for me, and I'm superstitious. I wore it last night, and we won, and so I am rocking it once again. Keeping up with the Devils, you better get that Markstrom jersey soon then. Yo, Holmes, as a fellow old dude, can't have a jersey of a player younger than you on a jersey. It does feel weird, right? It does feel weird, and it's something I never thought about until I was getting older, and I'm like, I'm older than this guy, and now it's like, it's not even close. I remember in my mid-20s, I was like, oh, this is a 19-year-old guy, a 20-year-old guy, and I'm 25, 26. Now it's like, we're almost at the point where I'm like, I could be this guy's dad, almost. I mean, biologically, I could, right? I mean, but wild stuff. And to think I haven't seen my team hoist the cup since before some of these guys were born. It's unbelievable. Gem card collecting Quinn Hughes is obviously someone we would want to. What is that in reference to? I don't have the same appetite for getting Quinn Hughes as everyone else does. I think our defense is pretty solid as is. I mean, I understand why everyone's like, oh my God, to have all three Hughes brothers. Oh yeah, I understand the Devils or the marketing department's probably salivating at that possibility as well. That's basically a marketing dream to have the Hughes brothers. With that being said, whatever money he gets paid, I would much rather use on forward help. Look at the team right now. No one's like, oh my God, we need defensemen. We're dying out there. We need forwards. We need goal scoring. Max, is that about the jersey question? Obviously, if we got McDavid, I would get a jersey too. Troy Machine, if you were still a gambling man, would you put any money on Timo to score tonight? Well, Troy, that all matters on one thing, Troy. What's the money? What's the odds? What are the odds for the jersey? Yeah, McDavid's obviously in there. I thought that was a given. Amagi, Ace would be at Dick's 0.01 seconds for a jersey after Chris Kreider becomes a Devil. Absolutely not. And to follow up on that, Max, I was going with the more, I thought the ones that were, I mean, really, I guess, is no technically obvious ones, but, Austin Matthews, again, we're talking about unrealistic ones, but Austin Matthews I'd get in a heartbeat as well, probably. Gem card collecting Markstrom is about to shut the door in Vegas. Samsonov is getting lit up. Hopefully. Chico, look up winger trades. I'm telling y'all, wingers much better than Raquel have gone for less than we're talking about here. Yeah, I'm just going based off of what I think, the desperation, and I'm giving it the seller's market premium in this case, Chico. I'm going with the seller's market premium. Just for fun, Chico. Just for fun, Chico, tell me in the chat, and I hate to even do this, but now I'm just curious because we're talking about trades and stuff. Chico, put in the chat what you think it would take for the Devils to land Brady Tkachuk in a scenario where he becomes available. I don't think he is, and this is all just for fun. I'm not saying this is reality, but I'm just curious, Chico, in terms of Devils, what they have, what do you think it would take to get Brady? Steven Engel, Ace, how come they only have the red practice jersey for sale? Would love the black one. Are you talking about which ones are you talking about, Steven? Put a link in the chat for which one you're talking about. Jay Snow, it's Marky's first game back. Let's not kill him. Yeah. Make it a nice, easy night. Let him just coast. Let him just get his bearings back. Let him get his legs underneath him. Just give him a nice, easy night of work. Give the man a lead early and then build on it. Let's have a multi-goal lead for most of the game. Wouldn't that be swell, guys? To just be sitting on like a 2-0 lead midway through the game. Be sipping on a pina colada. Would be unbelievable. Jared, I'm hearing we're eyeing Jake Evans and Brock Besser. Oh, baby. I do like Besser. I just can't see us going that big. And I also think if we're going after him, I don't see how that wouldn't include a roster player. Very interesting. Steven Engel, I think we're playing stay back poke checking defense tonight. Jared, any chance we get both? I hope we get at least one of them. You never know what Fitz is thinking and what he's willing to deal. The biggest question is, what is he willing to part with? Now, a lot of people have been talking about wanting to trade Mercer. I don't want to trade Mercer by any stretch. If a sensible deal came up where a team was looking to get him in return and that was kind of a sticking point, would I consider trading him? Absolutely. But I've explained this again multiple times. I just think that we need several NHL capable forwards on this team. And so for me, bringing in a guy and shipping Mercer is just kind of a lateral move in terms of the number of forwards we need. Go Boro, who's your favorite 80s Devil other than Danico? Before my time, but if I had to pick one, 80s Devil, I don't think I would really have one other than Danico. If it's before my time, it's almost like it didn't exist in terms of this conversation. I mean, how could I have a favorite? I guess, Brendan Shanahan, easily. Shanny. That's an easy one. My mind was a little slow there. Brendan Shanahan. Max says, on Twitter, it seems like it will be a lot of NJ fans in the crowd. I mean, listen, if you're looking to go to a New Jersey Devils road game and make a trip out of it, very hard to beat Vegas. Vegas is a phenomenal game atmosphere. I went there in 2020. It was awesome. They got like all kinds of, in-game shows. They have all kinds of stuff. Very exciting. Obviously, Vegas is a very great city if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not even the biggest gambler. I do enjoy playing poker a lot, but phenomenal restaurants. There's shows. You could people watch on the strip and see all sorts of weird stuff. I'm a big Vegas fan, and I do hope to catch the Devils at the Golden Knights, in the next few seasons. I would love to see it. Metalander, Stamkos and Marchessault turned out to be paycheck players. Nashville sucks, and they're funding these players' pensions just like us with Palat. I like Stammer a lot before that. He lost a lot of points in my book. I'll be honest. Chico, it depends on what the Canucks want to do. If they want to rebuild, I could see them moving Besser, but if they think they can stay in it, there's no chance they're moving him. Keeping up with the Devils. Oh, yeah, the singular win in Utah took us up to 93.1% thoughts. You already know what I think, keeping up with the Devils. It seems insane. It still feels like a coin flip to me. But I'm not surprised. If it was already at 90, how would winning not improve the chances? Who is the starting goalie tonight? It is Jacob Markstrom making his triumphant return between the pipes for your New Jersey Devils, and they got to do it big for Marky tonight. No excuses. Win for Marky. Play responsible. Give this man goal support, and let him have a kind of easy transition game back into the net. Let's do it. Keeping up the Devils. Timo Myers plus 250 to score. I do wish it was more than that. I feel like that's not great odds. But if I was still a gambling degenerate, I'd certainly certainly sprinkle a little bit on that, keeping up with the Devils, but I do feel like that's not great value. Thirst for War, I gladly wear a Hischier and Hughes jersey. I also have a Kovalchuk, Stevens, and of course a Brodeur, all from the appropriate era. Yeah, those are all great jerseys to have. I'm just, I'm more of a old school dynasty player loyalist. And a few blanks. Nice. The weightlifting lab could be worse, Ace. You could be a Rags fan in 1994. Oh, it certainly could. Troy Machine, plus 300. I don't know what that means. I don't gamble much myself. So plus 300 means, Troy, you bet $100 to win 300. So that's what plus 300. So if it was like, you're betting on a team to win and it's plus 300, you put up 100. And if they win, you get 300. This year's practice jersey. Let me see something. If it's any different than... Isn't it essentially what... Yeah, I think it's very similar to recent ones, just that they have the Fanatics branding instead of Adidas. Yeah, I've always liked practice jerseys. The new Fanatics. Eventually, the blacks will be available from somewhere. Let me see. Hopefully, this is my new lucky jersey. Gem card, Besser would be a great ad. Maybe Mercer for him. Go Boro. Oh, here we go. Brady. Nemitz plus Bratt plus first plus second underpay. I mean, that seems like a pretty hefty package, I think. Keeping up with the Devils, too many buyers, not enough sellers. I don't have an expectation for Besser coming here. Chico, getting Brady entirely depends, but I think he costs more, at least a first-round pick and a good prospect, something like one of our seconds, next year's first, Nemitz, KC, AHLer. No confirmation on Vegas starting goalie yet. Khalil, why you have Brad on that list? He's a great player. NJ Devils fan 95. I'd rather get Bjorkstrand and not pay as much. Jason, no, Vegas is going to play heavy the forecheck and have the best decor in the NHL. It'd be a huge win tonight, but I got to see it to believe it. Well, hopefully you see it, my man. Hopefully you see it. Cape Dweller says 80s Devil was Doug Brown for me. Natas says Captain Kirk. Kirk Muller, that is. Go Boro. I wouldn't want to trade Bratt, just thinking of what Otto would be asking for. Wayne Matera, Sundstrom, Shanahan, McLean, I think it was. Great line. Pat Verbeek. Oh, look at all you old heads in here tonight, huh? Maybe the pre-pregame brings out more of you old guys because you're still awake. It's only 7:15, and after the game, it's going to be like, what, after 11 p.m.? This is an old-timers pre-pregame special right here. People throwing around the guys were talking about the 80s before I was even a fan, throwing all the legends out, the 80s legends. Look up what Mark Stone went for. Jared, I'm with you. I like Besser. I'd pick him over Evans. If we only got one of them, hypothetically, if we did, what line combo would you put him with? Besser? I mean, I think you'd have to put him with the big guns. I think you have to put Bratt back on left. I think that's what I would do in that scenario. Put Bratt on left wing, and you have him with those two. And there you have a capable, legitimate top six guy with peanut butter and jelly. Keeping up the Devils, but McLean sent us to the playoffs for the first time. Chico, if I recall correctly, Markstrom went for a blue chip prospect, another guy, and a second round pick. And Calgary scores. Let's go. Let's go on the out-of-town scoreboard. Oh, look at that. With 10 minutes left in the third, let's just get a Calgary regulation win. We don't need the Canes to get any points in this one. And it was Kadri on the power play. He's a guy I always thought would have been a great Devil. He got super paid, though, Kadri. Gem card, hope Canes lose tonight. They're tied 1-1 with Flames. John, I don't want to jinx it, but it'd be interesting if the Canes dropped a wild card and it was NJ versus Columbus in the first round. Yes, it would. Meadowlander, not sure if this is open for discussion by all, but I think Brader, Nemitz, and next year's first would get Brady. I think that'd be close. I think Ottawa would probably be forced to take that in the event that Brady had went to management and said, "Get me out of here." Chico says, "Not a chance." That's a massive overpay. If the Sens are moving Brady, it's probably to enter another rebuild. It would not cost Brett. I mean, that'd be amazing if that. But this is all hypothetical. I don't want to get excited about this. This was just completely hypothetical. I think it would take Ottawa completely falling out of it. And I don't think it would happen this year because I think they'll be close enough to where there'll be no noise. But if they do end up missing, I expect it to be an interesting summer full of rumors again. Cape Dweller, Sundstrom's 88 playoff was epic. Shane Ace, when you hear the Devils are all in, what does that make you think they will do? I'm still waiting for this article. Is there a quote where Fitzgerald said this, where he said he's all in? I mean, I would love to hear it. And realistically, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What would I actually believe when he says he's all in? I guess realistically, it means getting a top 6 forward and a bottom 6 center at a minimum. And so, again, I think all in, when people hear all in, their ears might perk up a little more than they should. And they're going to like, they're all in. But like, I don't know. Between the bullets they have available and cap space, I would say all in looks like getting a guy like a McCann or something along those lines and a guy like Evans. I think that's as realistically good as it gets in terms of this season. Outside of, making some blockbuster-ish type trade involving roster players, but I don't think that's going to happen. Jay Snow says Brady's a unicorn, can't compare him to other wingers. I agree with that. Meadowlander, my 80s fave is John McClain. He scored all the big goals at the beginning. How could I forget him? He would be on my list as well. Him and Shani. Cape Dweller says challenge accepted. I'll be here post game. Oh, man. Yo, Holmes, old dudes never sleep. Chico, Tim Stützle would probably go for way more than Brady Tkachuk. That's not a commentary on who I'd prefer. It's just how the market treats centers versus wingers. Samuel, my first jersey was Bruce Driver, 85 or 86, I think. Nice. 95 Cup champ. Calgary Flame just tied the game versus Hurricanes. Cape Dweller says, of course, I'll have to go nap now. Jeff, agreed with that hypothetical Bratt, Hughes, Besser. Yeah, I think that'd be a lethal line. Robert, let's go. Does Bruce Driver get any respect here? Yeah, I'm a Bruce guy. Yo, Holmes, I saw a girl rocking a Bruce Driver captain jersey at the Winter Classic. I was fanboying that jersey so hard. Chico, I don't think the market values Tkachuk as much as we do. They didn't with much better wingers. I think they would this time around. I think it is a different world now, Chico, because the evidence is there of, first and foremost, what Matthew Tkachuk single-handedly did for the Florida Panthers franchise. And then you saw what the impact they both had in the Four Nations tournament. I do think people are starting to realize the true specimens that they are, that your boy Ace has been talking about since I've had this channel. Heavier, edgier, more violent, with high-end talent. It doesn't get any better than Big Walt's boys. The American Bash Brothers. Jay Snow, Besser is like a Toffoli, not fast, doesn't drive play, but a great finisher. Weightlifting Labs has got to be John McClain. Keeping up with the Devils, back-to-back no playoffs, and he will go to Florida. That's what I think. I think his ultimate end game now is to go to Florida as well. Be in nice weather, play with his brother. No state income tax. I mean, my God. Wait. I'm pretty sure Florida doesn't have. Yeah, Florida, no state income tax. Unbelievable. Sunshine, beaches, and no state income tax on your multi-million-dollar contract. Ridiculous. Yo, Holmes, my little brother's first jersey was Bruce Driver. He met Bruce socially and signed his jersey. Now the jersey's in a frame over the desk at the office. Very nice. Evan says the Rangers are so dirty. Rempe just elbowed a Predator. Was it penalized? He better watch it. The next suspension for Rempe is going to be a big one. Chico, Hall went for Larson when Hall was in his prime. We tend to treat that like a massive outlier when the reality is that's closer to the norm than we realize. Obviously a bit of an outlier still. Oh, come on, man. The deal is 1-for-1 will live in Twitter, hockey Twitter infamy of all time. I mean, I don't think there's one person who saw that wasn't stunned. Taylor Hall for Larson. I mean, my God. What would it take to get Cousins from Buffalo? I don't know. There's going to be tons of teams on all these guys, which is crazy. Like, as soon as teams are like, we're open for business, everyone's going to come flocking. Jeter Toker says, everyone who leaves Buffalo wins a cup. I like that idea, Samuel. Chico, the Kachucks, I agree, but I don't think GMs look at it that way. I think they look at Florida and give Bob and Barkov more credit. Well, I'd be curious to know what the reality is there, but I don't see how you couldn't look at the undeniable turnaround after obtaining Matthew Tkachuk. I do think that guys like that have an effect on the locker room that's just contagious. He is just a fiery competitor that wants to win, will do anything it takes to win, and will drag his teammates there with him. Specimens. Khalil, speaking about the Four Nations, a lot of people were hating on Jack, but Jack was making good passing so his line can finish, but they couldn't. Again, that's another one where I think the truth was kind of in the middle. Some people were like, Jack played great, which I don't think he did at all. And some people were like, Jack was the worst player on America, which I don't think was either. I think he was so-so in the tournament. He had a couple good setups throughout. There was one particular power play I remember where he like set up three or four chances where they could have scored and they didn't. But I don't think he was great, and I don't think he was horrible. I think he was kind of average for his first time playing in a tournament of that caliber. And hopefully he will learn from it. And it seemed like the first game back against the Dallas Stars that he was probably like, whoa, he was probably a little freaked out because he was not used to as much room or time. I think the game was a little bit easier for him after playing with the stiff level of competition that he was for the past couple of weeks to then return to regular NHL games. He was probably like, whoa, I missed this. This is a little bit easier to operate out here. Thirst for war, soon to be no property tax. Is that real? God, man. No income tax or property tax? Shh. If my whole family wasn't in New Jersey, I'd be in Florida so fast. No property tax or income tax? Oh my God. What more do you need? That's a huge life help. Jace, no, Jack was the second best rated defensive player in Four Nations. That means shit for me personally, but that's a cutesy little stat, I suppose. Louis, game penalties have Rempe listed for an elbow against C. Smith. Troy Machine, Wolfpack scored an empty netter on themselves versus Utica. Was that this afternoon? Chico, there are a lot of really dumb GMs, Ace. I guess so. Go Boro, I mean, wasn't Florida pretty meh in the playoffs before Tkachuk came around? I remember in 2022, they were the best team in the league, but absolutely pooped the bed in the playoffs. Tkachuk turned that franchise around. It's undeniable. Jace, no, bidding wars for everyone. Louis, Tuck is 6'4", 219. Give me. I would love Tuck. Yo, Holmes, Hall for Larson 1-for-1 was because Edmonton is a small town and Hall loves hookers and cocaine. NJ can handle guys who like that. Amagi, Barkov is a similar captain to Nico, both cool, calm, and collected. Having an alternate captain gives a good cop, bad cop vibe is perfect. Lance Schneider says, love to see Tuck in the red and black as well. Ryan Johnson, I mean, Florida gets decimated by a hurricane on the regular, so there's trade-offs. I guess that's true. Is there safer places more inland where you wouldn't be? The natural disasters would freak me out as well. I would not want to have to deal with that. I had a friend who lived in like Tampa area, I think, and he's had to evacuate like multiple times the last few years. Chico, Jack looked fine in Four Nations, just another player in a tournament of elites. Team USA seemed hesitant to trust him with the puck, in my opinion. Traveling Devil, wait to see what sales tax will go to. Oh, so is that the trade-off? They're taking away the income tax and the property tax, but they're just tacking it on to sales tax. Ranger just scored. They lead 1-0. Louis, Florida won't have property tax, but how are they going to offset it? Tune up sales tax to 25%? Is that the plan? Dun, dun, dun. Oh shit, it's late. Oh, all right. I gotta run, guys. I got a pregame to catch. This was the pregame. Thank you to all of you for joining me on this beautiful Sunday evening where we are looking for back-to-back wins. Your New Jersey Devils in Vegas. Jacob Markstrom returning from injury to hopefully lead this New Jersey Devils team to a very rare back-to-back win in game 2 of a back-to-back. Nemitz is in, I believe. And I will be back after the game. Hopefully we don't tax Marky too much. Hopefully he has an easy night between the pipes. And hopefully your New Jersey Devils come up with another massive 2 points on this pre-playoff stretch here. But we'll be back, guys. We'll be back, and hopefully it's victory vodka for everybody. Thanks for joining me. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you haven't already. And let's go Jacob Markstrom. Let's go Devils. And that's it, guys. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.